The best way to get in touch with other layers of reality, your own inner wisdom, your intuition, your clair abilities, communication from your guides, what's hiding in your subconscious mind is through meditative states. And they're actually a lot easier to get into than you think because we naturally pass through meditative or hypnotic states at least twice a day and oftentimes more than twice a day. So the times you definitely pass through meditative states are when you first wake up and when you go to sleep, when you fall asleep. You're passing through meditative or hypnotic states. They're called the hypnagogic and hypnopompic states. And if you notice right when you wake up, your mind feels more at ease, more flowing. Things are easy to pass through your mind. You might have dreamlike states where you have more intuition, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, where you're feeling more in touch with what's going on in your head. It's just like a relaxed state. And we can also pass through these states when we're doing simple tasks that we don't really have to put a lot of conscious thought into. Essentially, anything that makes it so that we aren't consciously using our brains, we're not consciously trying to do things is passing through or bringing us into a meditative or hypnotic state. And the reason that they're so good for getting in touch with the deeper parts of ourselves and our intuition is because they actually shut down our critical conscious mind. It makes it easier for things to slip through that we typically would just ignore. Or it makes it easier for things to slip through that we would typically question and be like, is this real? Essentially, the less we're questioning, is this real? What does this mean? The more easy it is for this type of information to slip through. This is why when you wake up and before you fall asleep, you might have dreamlike visions or dreamlike epiphanies, realizations that you wouldn't normally have just moving through the world. And if you're doing some sort of repetitive task like driving to work, you're taking the same route, you might zone out and you might just find you got to work, but the time in between leaving for work and getting to work, if you're just on autopilot and you go into a hypnotic state, is going to be a time where your mind is allowing you to like freely flow information that it wouldn't normally have access to. If you want to practice getting into meditative states so that you can receive more information from your own self, from your own inner wisdom, your own intuition, or from your guides, from your God, from whatever it is, from a higher power, you can easily start by taking the time when you wake up, and this is what I do, and this is a good way to develop it. The time when you wake up early enough so that you have a half an hour, however long you want it to be, where you don't have anything to do, but just allow your mind to freely flow and allow your mind to wander. So when you wake up in the morning, you might just simply make your cup of coffee or whatever you do in the morning, make your breakfast, but you don't have anything specific you want to think about. You just kind of sit down or do whatever repetitive tasks that don't require a lot of conscious thought and allow your mind to flow. And in these states, I have had really cool epiphanies. I have had really cool insights. I have had meditative, dreamlike visions. I have gotten really good guidance from spirit in these states. In fact, I like to use the one where I am about to fall asleep because in those, I can get really good meditative visions. So, right before I fall asleep, I will set an intention that I'm going to be paying attention to what happens as I fall asleep. And as I fall asleep, I will get cool visions, insights, and guidance and epiphanies as I'm drifting off to sleep that I will probably remember. Sometimes I'll do it in a nap form, like I'm going to take a nap and I'm going to pay attention. Maybe I'll set an alarm and I'm going to pay attention to what happens in between when I set the intention and drifting off into sleep. And then I'll record it or I'll make a mental note of it. And it usually is some sort of cool insight or guidance. From there, the more you get used to those meditative states, the easier it is to just slip in and out of them throughout everyday life. So once those become something that you can recognize and you understand, the more you practice it, the more you can just decide, okay, I'm going to go on a walk in the woods and I'm going to allow my mind to slip into a meditative state so that I can easily have ideas and information flow into my mind. Or, okay, I'm going to do the dishes. And while I do the dishes, I'm going to allow myself to slip into a meditative state so that I can have this information and these experiences easily flow into my mind. This practice has profoundly improved my quality of life, my intuition, and my overall well being.